Greetings, archivist, and welcome to my library. As you probably already know, I am the Librarial Weaver. Pleased to finally meet eye to eye. The fact that you are here means that you have accepted my offer. Don't worry about how exactly you arrived at my office. Puppeteering you through my cobweb-covered collection was quite simple. And don't worry about finding the exit. You shall be permitted to leave. As for any other flies that find themselves stuck in this place, maybe they'll find a way to egress if they supply a terrifying tale for my shelves. Maybe. Now then, let us not dawdle. You are here for a reason after all. I promised you a statement, and a statement you shall receive. Statement begins. The fondness of books and libraries has been part of me for as long as I can recall. Knowledge and fantasy bound in physical form, contained in a place where you can wander endlessly amongst the tomes. A magical world, printer ink and paper. The web emerged later, but not by much. Spiders, however, are not the main reason I serve the mother of puppets. Now, don't misunderstand me. The arachnids themselves are both fascinating and terrifying. With 8 legs and eyes, their biology is utterly alien. Plus the fact that some have venom, able to easily kill an adult. It's enough to make anyone nervous when they feel a tingle on the back of their neck. As the years passed, I found the smaller specimens rather endearing, silently weaving their silken strands, unnoticed until you look closely, or you're stuck in the web, much like myself. It is in fact the weaving that ties me closest to my patron. The planning, plotting, the manipulating. I would like to point out that when I say manipulating, I don't employ any falsehoods or lies. I find that such methods lead to the main of the spiral faster than one would like. My marionettes are moved only by truth. Despite how simple it may be to get people to do what you want, I never quite liked how easy it was for me. It is a part of myself that I'm not very fond of. It's part of myself that I find quite terrifying. But much like yourself, I hadn't stopped. Because I don't want to stop. It is, however, my own weaving that created a new avatar of the desolation. An unintended side effect of a plan, perhaps. But not an unexpected one. Introducing my friends to the Magnus archives was bound to have some consequences. I know that the latest manifestations are intentionally directed at me. They have definitely noticed an increase in the number of spiders without me actively trying. It's probably caused by the fact that we are the only avatars we know, while serving opposing entities. Unintentional or not, it has been noticeable. Have you ever been inside a large factory, archivist? The type that processes tons of product per hour. The type that spans several floors. Each filled with steam pipes and massive machines. The type of steam that will burn the flesh from your bones. The type of machine that keep running no matter what you put in them. That doesn't care if it's normal product or your arm. I have. It's where I work. It may surprise you, but residing in a silk-shrouded library does not exactly pay the bills. And you probably know that thumbtacks and string aren't given out for free. The point is that when you work at a place like that, you start to notice all the little things that could go wrong. When the steam pipe starts rattling, you might think, there's a bit of air inside. No big deal. But then you start to think, what if it breaks? What if it breaks right now, and the superheated vapor melts the ice out of my skull? What if the metal plate on that machine over there comes loose and turns my leg bones into gory splinters? What if I get pulled into the gears of some uncaring mechanism and feel myself slowly being reduced to a fine red paste? The rumble of the machine is certainly loud enough. No one would hear the screams. What if it isn't me, but someone I care about? What if I see it happen and I'm powerless to stop it? Those dreams are the worst. They always start subtle. It's a perfectly normal day at work, but something feels off. There's a rising sense of dread. It's a lot hotter than usual. The machinery is louder than it should be the case, almost like a low growl. I check all the floors to find out what's making me so uneasy. I'm starting to convince myself it's all in my head when I see it. At first, I'm confused. How is there fog inside the building? It's a clear day. The windows here can't even open. But somehow I can barely see the floor I'm standing on. The terror hits me seconds after the realization. There must be a hole in the production line somewhere. It's not fog, it's dust. This much dust in the air is creating an explosive atmosphere. It's like filling the room with gas. And just like gas, it needs only a spark to ignite. That's when the motion sensor triggers and turns on the lights. I don't see the explosion. I don't hear the explosion. I don't even feel the explosion. What I do feel is several of my ribs breaking as I collide with the wall. Each breath is torture as my lungs are being shredded by the very bones that are meant to protect them. As I stagger to my feet, my vision swims with what is definitely a concussion. I reach for the emergency stop, just as a nearby steam pipe bursts. The heat is so intense that the nerves in my hand don't even register anything before being destroyed. The ones in my arm, however, are very much active, as the melting remains of the button fuse with my melting flesh. Yanking myself free, I trade finger bones for oozing plastic. The world spins around me as I lose my footing and fall backwards. From my new position, I see fractures appearing in the ceiling, growing larger and larger, until the reinforced concrete starts to crumble like stale bread. When it gives way, a massive piece of machinery follows. It looks nothing like any machine I've ever seen. It's all crushing gears and sharp edges. Not that I have much time to study it, as more of the ceiling falls down on top of me. I feel concrete break bones and steel rebar perforate organs. I'm probably coughing up blood, but I'm too dazed to notice. Suddenly, there's a tugging at my leg. Has someone found me? Am I being dragged to safety? A faint glimmer of hope. Hope that is snuffed out as I realize what's happening. A piece of rebar has embedded itself into my leg, while the other end is being pulled into the maw of the machine. I struggle, I kick and I thrash. I break the nails of my remaining hands trying to dig into the floor. But the uncaring gears keep spinning. The steel in my safety boots does nothing except provide a metallic crunch as it's torn to ribbons. The bones of my feet don't fare much better, as they are slowly ground into powder. The meat around them being turned into an unrecognizable pink slush. And I am being pulled further in, bit by excruciating bit. When I am more than halfway reduced to jagged shards and bloody pulp, I feel myself stop. The rebar that has cured me is preventing the gears from drawing me in completely, denying me the release of total oblivion. It is then that someone appears. It's a colleague, looking down through the hole in the ceiling. Time seems to slow down as they trip and fall into the unrelenting meat grinder that has half consumed me. I attempt to grab them, hoping to pull them out, to save them from being eviscerated. But I can't reach them. I can do nothing but watch as they are mangled into bloody chunks. They scream, but I can't hear them or the sound of breaking bones. The last thing I see of them is a pair of bleeding eyes, before their skull splits like an overripe melon, coating me with a spray of blood. I stare at the red smear that was once a person, an entire human, crushed into a heap of viscera by mechanical indifference. I feel my mind shutting down from the trauma and shock when something snaps me back to the present. A dull thud as another body falls down and impacts the machine. Another colleague, already being pulled into the cogs. As the machine and I are getting covered in viscera and blood, I can already see the next colleague falling. Then another, and another, and another. Then acquaintances, and friends, and family. One by one, until everyone I love and care about is gone. Tears carve rivulets of pink down my blood-spattered cheeks. It's only then that the metal rebar in my lungs bends and snaps. One of the pieces shatters my skull and gouges a chunk out of my brain. With nothing more to stop them, the gears pull me in the last bit. The ripping and rending and crushing and tearing seems to go on forever, till I finally black out. At that point, I usually jolt awake, shaking and hyperventilating for the rest of the night. Unfortunately, it hasn't stopped at just dreams. Lately, I've been having an increasing amount of incidents at work. A cut here, a bruise there, a minor first-degree burn. You might see it as just minor accidents. You might even see it as being lucky that it's not something worse. But I see it for what it truly is. It's being grazed by the teeth of something huge and hungry. And when it finally bites down, there will be nothing I can do to stop it. And it will be agony. Statement ends. Now then, archivist, I believe that I have upheld my end of ordeal adequately, which means that you now owe me a favor. A small service as repayment. A word of warning. Trying to abstain from your side of our agreement would be ill-advised. As for the details of this favor, I'll be in touch.